Tell me a little bit about your business and your products and how you got into this.
Yeah, so I carry on the work of my dad. My dad started a company when I was.
I think you mentioned online courses as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
This was something I started learning about in these marketing groups that I belong to. And this has been really huge for me because my hands are a little bit tied with what I can share and what I can say. I thought, well, why don't I build an online course where you have to pay to get in, but then I can teach people everything I know. Like I have so much knowledge in how to take care of your health using herbal medicine, using fitness. I have modules in there on mindset. I teach people how to make homemade soap, how to make an herbal tincture, how to make a skin salve. Like this, I have 70 videos in my online course. But this is what happened. For the first couple of years after I really had this huge desire to make one, it was so overwhelming to me. Like, how do I start filming? What's my content going to be? Like, it's an overwhelming thought to put together an online course that provides value for people. So for a couple of years, I just kind of kept talking about it to people, but I never took action. And my business is busy and I'm busy. And so then what happened, I was on a podcast that recorded, this was December of 2017. I recorded a podcast, and after we got done, the host was like, oh, that was really awesome. It's going to air in January, the 6th of January. So actually that was before we started recording, because what happened is while we did the interview, he said, so what is a really good way that people can connect with you? So I started listing, and I had this thought in the back of my mind. I'm like, I need to jump off of a cliff and then build my parachute on the way down, right? So I know you know exactly what I'm going to say, right? So at the end of my interview, when he asked me how I can connect, and the interview was like an hour long, and it was such a great podcast. And it was one of the best ones that I'd ever done. Like in the beginning, it kind of launched a lot of people inviting me to their podcast. But I said, I actually have an online course that I'm launching in January. Now, this was the 2 weeks away, and I didn't even have a platform I was going to host it on. I didn't know what the content I was going to do. I didn't even know how I was going to do it. But I put it out there. He had a big audience, and I said, I have an online course that's going to launch in January. And that was January of 2018. It was 2 weeks away. And so for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of December, I got to work. I launched my course in the beginning of January. And basically what I said is, if you sign up for my course, you get this price, you get this, I'm going to give you free product. And then I'm going to build my course throughout the entire year. Every week, I'm going to drop a video. Every week or every 2 weeks. So I literally, during 2018, built the course. And I hired a videography, and we did a bunch of, so I kind of forced myself to do something. You almost have to do something to give yourself a push if you need it. And yeah, so my course is amazing. It's amazing. And it's been a really great revenue stream as well.
That's great. I love that tip. I had a coach that kind of called those behavior traps, where you publicly commit and sign up to something, and now you got to do it.
Yeah, you do. I think there's no such thing as perfection. I've gone back and I've re-recorded different modules. I've re-recorded some of the videos, and because I just needed to update them, and it's super easy. And the platform that I chose is really good. I use Kajabi, which just hosts my online platform. And yeah, it's good. I think that one of the best things that's been for me is I can just say, look, I can teach you everything I know in an uncensored way. And it's really true. Like I can teach someone how to help their child with a fever or an infection or whatever. And it's a beautiful community, because under each module, people can comment, and then we can interact with each other. So now people can see different questions, and I respond, and people have kind of personal access to me in a way which they love. And yeah, online courses are awesome.
Yeah, I like how you say that. I think someone spends so many hours watching you, and you're giving them value, and you're encouraging them and telling them they can do it and showing them how to do it. It builds up this trust and relationship that like can't really be replicated any other way, right?
Online courses are a beautiful way, not only for a business owner to provide value, but for a person to gain information and gain empowerment, especially with something like what I do. I have this deep knowledge from when I grew up with my dad and everything that he taught me. And now as a person who has raised kids, and I've got grandkids, and I have this huge sibling base, and I'm kind of now like the family medicine woman, I have this deep knowledge that needs to be shared. You know what I mean? And an online course is the perfect way to do it.
You've got a pretty large email list. I'm curious, how have you grown that, and how do you think about email as a channel?
So my email list, I know people with bigger email lists, but they're mostly email lists that have been bought. Like you might put out a quiz or you might do something else. So my email list is just about 100 away from 42,000. And it's a completely organic list. My email list is my gold. I am so careful. I only do affiliate things like every couple of years like if I just got filmed this week for a documentary that's going to drop at the end of May. So I'm in a documentary with a bunch of other like-minded people that's spreading the message that I believe in. So I'm going to be an affiliate for that. But other than that, I have people all day long who want me to, do their, affiliate their summits and their courses, and they might be some good stuff, but I'm so careful with my list. I nurture them like crazy. And when I'm on a documentary, I get a big push into my list when people see me speak. And because my goal is to provide value, it makes them want to opt in to my email list. And then I have an 8-week nurture campaign that before they ever get any of my other emails that I send, I do an email about once a week, but before they even get that, they go through 8 weeks of a really carefully crafted. They get to know all about the company. They know all about what our mission is, what my value is. In fact, one of the emails in the nurture campaign is a tribute to my dad's legacy, and it's one that I sent to my list a few years ago, and it was my most opened email. So I put that into the nurture campaign so that they could really read, what's this company about? My email list I love my customer. I love them. I would never just spam them with a whole bunch of things. Like yesterday was Earth Day. My email was all about taking care of ourselves using the gifts of Mother Nature. There was not one talk about a product in it at all. It was all just value, value, value. That's all it was, like inspiration. Let me inspire you to take better care of yourself, of Mother Earth. And it wasn't long. It was just like, 3 or 4 paragraphs. I mean, and be true to you when you email your people. Like, don't try to be like someone else, because that's never going to work.
Yeah, that's great advice. I love how you treat it like gold. You totally respect it. You're not going to send them spam. You're not going to send them to products you don't believe in. When you're on a documentary, you're on another podcast, and you're saying, hey, you can check us out over here. Do they come to your website and get on your list, or do you have a special landing page? How do they get on your list?
They just go to our website, and there is a pop-up that comes up. But if someone logs in to our website for the first time, then after a few seconds, if they click it off, then it won't show up again for 2 more days to that person. So it doesn't just pop up annoyingly. So I really want people to be able to look through my website without that pop-up, because that can turn people off right away. And then at the very bottom of the homepage on my website, there is an opt-in at the very bottom. And that's where people, I did a documentary that aired at the end of February. My segment was, this one was a long one. It was about 40 minutes, and I got 550 new customers, and I got 1,200 new emails. If you want to hear from me, I want you to want to hear from me,
Permission marketing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And you can opt out anytime you want. Like, I know I don't say stuff that offends people, but if you decide you're done, then opt out.
That's a great way to approach it. I think I heard something else in there is you may have sent something as a campaign or a blast. It performed well. It was about your dad's legacy. And so you incorporated that then into your automated welcome series. So people who join the list later then would get one of your best performing emails, right?
Yes. So what I did is the original email, this is where it's really important to look at your analytics and look at your open rates and click rates. This is where it's really important that you understand how that works. And if you don't understand, this isn't a good example of, you need to have someone on your team or someone who helps you with your marketing who can look at that. Because to me, I'm interested in this and I understand how to look at these things. But what happened is, on 1 year, on my dad's birthday, I wrote a tribute to my dad. And it was just an email. It was just an email saying, hey, today's my dad's birthday. He's had a huge impact, not just on me, but on a lot of people around the world. He was, when I was in high school, he wrote a book. And I remember that when he was marketing the book, he went on all of these radio stations all over the world and mostly in the United States. But I remember that he was such a popular guest because even then, which is now more than 40 years, people were still hungry for information on how to heal themselves naturally. So I just wrote straight from the heart exactly what my experience was when my dad wrote his book, how proud I was, and all of us were, when he went on all these radio stations, and how generous he was. And I just wrote a tribute to my dad. And there was no talk about product at all. It was like, this is just the man behind why I do what I do. And it was just, even now when people opt in, that one email gets more comments back to me than any other email because it touches people right here. It's like, and it wasn't written in a way that's like, I'm going to manipulate you. It was written right from how I feel and what's really true.
That's beautiful. There's just so much authenticity behind that of this is real. This is who we are. This is who's behind the brand and what we care about, and not even trying to sell. It sounds like in general, you're kind of resisting the urge, or you're not even having the urge to always have a call to action, to always be selling. It's more like you're sending regular emails that are really just content, pure free value. And that's how you think about it with your list and your community, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I've had people, and I do this every time now, but I've had people in the past that are like, your email is great. Thank you so much. It would be nice to have your website link just so we could just go right to the website. It's because I didn't even put my website link on there, because that's not my, that's not my goal. I want to have a successful company, and I only put out products that I would take myself or give to my own family. I'm not going to do anything that's just going to make a lot of money. I'm going to do something that's going to impact your life. So yes, if you come from that space, I'm telling you, you will be so successful because people want genuine people who care about what they do and are willing to stand behind what they do in every way. It's the only way to do it.
Thank you so much, Jane. This is wonderful. I've got some great notes here. Again, I keep coming back to, it's not just the information, it's the collaboration. That's true in a mastermind. It sounds like you think the same way in your marketing and just providing value of have integrity, be authentic. Can you tell us a little bit about your website, your products, and just who should check it out and who's a good fit for you and how can they find you?
Yeah, well, so my website, my maiden name is Barlow. So Jane Barlow Christensen. So Christensen is my married name. But most people know me by Barlow because our website is Barlow Herbal. And so just BarlowHerbal.com. If you're interested in my nurture campaign and how I've structured it, I would really suggest just opting in just for that reason, to go in and just look and see how the emails and how I've structured them. It's been tweaked over the years. It's been really kind of fine-tuned, and it's simply a way for me to nurture and for people to understand what my company is all about. So for 8 weeks after someone opts in, they don't get anything. As far as they don't get anything from me that I send out weekly to my list. I also have a YouTube channel, which is just Barlow Herbal, and I've interviewed a ton of people. So I don't just sit up there, even though a lot of it is just me sitting here, and you'll recognize because this is where I record. It's just me talking, but there's a lot of interviews. Like I interviewed Dr. Joel Kahn, who's America's Holistic Heart Doc, and I did an interview with him. I interviewed a woman named Marissa Peer, who is a very famous psychotherapist from the UK. And most of these people are people that I've met at some of these masterminds. Yeah, that's a good way to find me. The things I do, honestly, change the game.
Well, thank you so much for sharing what's working in e-commerce, Jane.
Yeah, you're welcome, Egan. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.